Okay, welcome to game week 3 of the Fantasy Chancellor, the fantasy football show we bring you on the Upper Tier podcast on YouTube. Now, things are getting interesting. As I say, we got 41 teams in the league now, so that's a very, very good response. So I'd like to thank everyone that has joined the league. Um, Thanks very much. It's going to be a bit of crack this year. So, I'm going to kick back into my team now from last week to see how well I did or didn't do. You can be the judge of that. So, I went for Gavin Bizunu again because, as I said previously, I'm committed to having him in there as a cheap goalkeeper. Made a few saves, got 2 points, nothing to write home about there, really. My double Arsenal gamble didn't pay off this week. Obviously, lost 2 goals against Leicester. And on top of that, as well, William Saliba scored no goals. So that knocked me back a bit there. But luckily, Nathan Collins came in for Wolves as they kept a clean sheet, and he got 2 bonus points as well. So that's a little good thing for Ireland as well. And it's going to be a big, big season for Nathan Collins there. Into the midfield. Nothing to write home about in midfield this week. Son didn't deliver against Chelsea. Salah didn't deliver in that poor Liverpool performance, it has to be said, against Palace on Monday night. Andres Pereira, the highest scorer in my midfield with 3. He kept a clean sheet in Fulham's game. And then I had Declan Rice, who missed a penalty. So if you look at that, that's absolutely shit, to be honest with you, for a midfield. 3, 4, 5, 7 points from 4 players, like, is pretty poor there. And then you look at the front 3, they've all somewhat delivered. So Kane obviously got that last minute goal against Chelsea. Haaland, who I captained this week, came up with an assist against Bournemouth. And Jesus, who I should have captained, got 2 goals and 2 assists. So Jesus really kind of helping out my team this week. And then you can see on the bench there, unfortunately, I had Nico Williams as well at 7 points. You know, it would have been nice to have him in there. He had a very, very good game for Forest in that victory. Impressive victory, it has to be said, over West Ham United on Sunday. So that is last week. That's how I done. So we're gonna have a look now at the league table. So leagues and cups, the upper tier. So I've went up a little bit, but as you can see here now, Kevin Mullally, very, very impressive. 2 weeks with a grand total of 144. So he's averaging over 70 there at the minute, which is very good. So we'll have a quick little look at Kevin's team here and see where it went right for him. So 63 points, it says here. Ederson, 6 points. Cancelo, obviously a great one for Man City, isn't he? He's always popping up with the goods. And as you can see, we'll just quick price check on Cancelo there. He's 7 million, owned by 47% of fantasy football users. Thiago Silva obviously didn't keep the clean sheet. William Saliba, that I touched on earlier, unfortunately scored that own goal. So that was a bad week for him. Matty Cash seems to be carrying an injury. That's something that Kevin will have to look at going forward. Raheem Sterling with the assist. Obviously, Martinelli is delivering for Arsenal at the moment, and Jesus and Haaland at the top there for points. So that was Kevin's team. He unfortunately had Nico Williams on the bench as well. So I'm going to go through my team for this week. So Gavin Bazunu going in again. I'm going with a back 4. Going with Ben White and Saliba again. I'm taking the gamble on 2 cheap Arsenal defenders. Didn't pay off last week. Did pay off the first week. So let's go for third time lucky. I'm going to put Patterson in there for Everton. Another cheap option, and playing Nottingham Forest at home. You know, I know Nottingham Forest had a great victory at home last week, but they're away this week. So it might be difficult for them, even though Everton are struggling themselves. Nico Williams, I'm going to put him in also. So I'll be hoping really for a 0-0 draw there, I suppose. Into the midfield, then we gone Son, Salah, and Rice. Hard to know with Mo Salah. Like, I was half thinking about taking him out, which would be unthinkable most times for me, really. And I was going to put Kevin De Bruyne in there, but De Bruyne's fitness kind of worries me at times. And then I'm expecting Salah, hopefully for Liverpool's sake, to hit form soon. And then the front 3 again. Kane, Jesus, Haaland. I have to go with Jesus as captain this week after last week's performance. Haaland, then Newcastle will be a little tricky game for Man City. I still expect them to win it. I don't expect them to win it by a lot. And I would expect Spurs to beat Wolves, even though it's the dodgy half 12 kickoff this week, which is going to be interesting because I'm doing the last man standing and I actually have Tottenham in it going against my own beliefs of betting on the early game. So that'll be an interesting one. Just on the subs bench, same players with the exception of Ward for Leicester that I got in instead of Caballero. And the reason I have is because obviously with Kasper Schmeichel gone, Danny Ward is 4 million. He's the cheapest playing goalkeeper in the league. So I think as a backup option for this season to have Ward in there, just if the likes of Bazunu is playing maybe Man City or somewhere where they're likely to ship a good few goals, I think he's a good option to have there. So before we wrap up, I'll go through the league standings so you can all check out your teams and how you're doing. Right, so Kevin Mullally obviously in first place. I'm not going to call everyone out. Niall from the upper tier up in third there. Mark Hogan, another very regular guest on the show, up at sixth there. Nothing wrong with that at all. Keep scrolling here. There I am at number 30. As I said, this is the fantasy chancer. I don't really know what I'm doing, but Garrett Murdoch. Give Garrett a shout out there. I'm sorry for not picking everyone out, but Garrett is actually the bassist in the band Ailstorm. So there you go. And 42, in fact, we have there. So it's still very early days. It's very tight. Obviously, Kevin's out with a great score there at 144. I always aim on this thing to be hitting over 50 points a week. So I'm on 107. So I'm where I want to be. And I know people have different aspirations of where they want to be. And myself and Darren are actually pretty close there as well. So yeah, it's going to take shape. I'll say over the next 7, 8 games, kind of people will know where they're at in this thing and how they're going and will wildcards be played. I normally play my wildcard after week 1, and this is probably the first season that I haven't played it after week 1. I'm pretty happy with my team. As I say, it's top heavy, but some of the big players that I have put in haven't been delivering, so that might have to change, and I may have to play my wild card soon. I'm going to let it pass for the next few weeks anyway and see how we go. Once I'm hitting over the 50 anyway, I'm cool with that. So that's it. Preview for game week 3. It's hard to believe we're going into the third week already. It's going to be a great season. Not looking forward to the kind of winter break during all this, but we do have a World Cup to look forward to, I guess, even though we're not in it, which is a shame. But we can always look forward to England's games for one reason or another. That's it for this week, guys. See you next week.